Welcome everybody to today's 1 Million by 1 Million Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. As you know, this is part of the 1 Million by 1 Million initiative, whose aim is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue by 2020, thereby creating $1 trillion in global GDP and 10 million jobs. I just saw a report that was sent to me yesterday by a professor at Babson College who has, I haven't seen the details of it yet, but who has apparently unearthed that there are currently 400 million entrepreneurs out there. And of course, the definition of entrepreneur includes all kinds of small businesses, micro enterprises, and so forth. But 400 million entrepreneurs is a very, very strong number. If we can get to an entrepreneuristic world where there is a substantial infrastructure, there is substantial policy support and everything for entrepreneurship all around the world, we will be in a much better place by the end of this decade. So it was actually heartening to see that number. I will talk to this lady and get more information about it, and I will report back. This, by the way, folks, is our 112th roundtable. Today is January 19th, and we've been around for a long time, and many of you have actually been with us for a long time. You've been attending these roundtables and participating and pitching in these roundtables for a while. So it's kind of like a tried and true program at this point. You will have the recordings available for further reference or sharing with other people. And if you are on Twitter, we are on Twitter at @Sramana. That's my personal Twitter handle. And then we also have @1M by 1M. And Maureen will be live tweeting from @1M by 1M. If you are live tweeting, please use the hashtag 1M1M. That will help you, anchor the messages. And we will start today with Titash Neogi's Themify. Before we go there, I want to give you one thing, which please don't start playing this right this minute, but I'm going to give you a new YouTube video channel that we've just started putting together. And I would appreciate some early feedback from you guys on these videos. There are about 10 new videos that we've just uploaded. There's about 35 videos of our roundtable recordings that we've uploaded there. So if you want to get a feel for other previous roundtables, you'll find that there as well. In addition, just in the last couple of days, we've uploaded 10 videos, including some very important messages. There's one called the Other 99%, and that talks about how the entire entrepreneurship ecosystem of the world is focused on less than 1% of entrepreneurs who are kind of the cream of the crop. They're ready to get funding. They have their act together. They know what they're doing. But the truth is 99% of the entrepreneurs are either not fundable or are not ready and blah, blah, blah. And we really have to take care of this other 99% if we want to do broad-scale economic development. So I was thinking, if there are 400 million entrepreneurs out there, then 99% of those entrepreneurs need actually help to get to the next level and get to some level of seriousness. Anyway, so that's where we are, and we'll do two presenters today, and then I would like to do spend some serious time on Q&A today, because last time we didn't have any time to do too much Q&A. We had a very packed session. We didn't get a chance to do a lot of audience Q&A. We had IIT Kharagpur with us last week, and it was a fabulous, fabulous session. And next week, actually, we're doing the same thing with Jacksonville, Florida Startup Weekend. So you'll have a glimpse into what's happening in Jacksonville, Florida. There are a couple of hundred entrepreneurs that are attending the Startup Weekend at Jacksonville, and we'll take 5 of them and work with them at the roundtable next week. So we won't have a lot of time to do general Q&A. So today I wanted to allocate some time for Q&A. So Titash, let's do your presentation first. Let's discuss Themify. If you could unmute the line and come and talk about what you're doing, that would be great.
Sure. Thank you, Sramana. And it's great being here and being able to present, and then, of course, hear your opinion and Q&A from rest of the audience. Hello everybody. My name is Titash Niyogi. I'm from Pune, India. In late 2009, I quit my job at Symantec Software and started CivLogic Software, my own startup. Themify is actually the second product coming out of CivLogic Software. The first product was bibcoach.com. Sramana, just a quick question: is the slide deck? Oh, sorry. I'm going to talk about Themify and not about bibcoach.com, though just a quick word that Themify is built as an application on top of the bibcoach APIs. The core idea behind Themify is that it allows you to curate, write your own content, that is create, and then publish it out in the form of an HTML5 magazine on the web, or embed it within your blog or website, or share it over social networks. So the central idea that we started Themify with was curation. Of course, since the time we launched our first beta, that was in October 2011, and we've been growing at a steady pace, and we're also kind of moving more and more towards content creation and publishing as a growing interest in our user base. So that's about me. Those are our yeah.
When you say curation, what about copyrights and so forth? What's your policy around all that?
Yeah, so we've taken a lot of work around copyright, and we believe that we are actually trying to solve a lot of copyright issues with the Themify model. So we actually, when you curate content, we make it sure that the source is clearly visible, and we never pick up content that is more than what is allowed as a representative text of the curated source. For reading the actual source, you have to visit the original site that the content was curated from. We also have a bibliography at the end of every HTML5 magazine that a user cannot remove. So when you create a magazine on Themify, some things that you cannot edit are the source and the bibliography that it automatically creates. So our experience with or our studies around blogging and a lot of current content curation is that the model is people copy and paste blatantly without quoting the source, and a lot of times it's not because they want to do intentional copyright violation, it's because the tools aren't copyright friendly. So we are trying to make this copyright friendly by letting you curate but not have to bother about copyright violation. So we're trying to reuse content in such a way that the sources are always prominently visible, and the actual content consumption never happens from our servers. It always happens from the source servers. So
okay. All right.
So yeah. So our target customers at a very broad level are people who want to self-publish, and people who basically want to, at a very philosophical level, it's just about anybody who wants to tell their stories. But when we drill it down to a more business level, it's about people who want to self-publish a book or a magazine by researching, curating content from the web, or authoring their own content, uploading their own pictures, and essentially these are content mashups. So you could take a small note that you created, then mix it with a Google map, and then the next thing could be a video, and the final thing could be a picture. So it's a highly dynamic, interactive mashup of various sorts of content. And the value that we add to these customers who want to self-publish is that this is a one-stop interface where you can research by looking up stuff on social networks and on the content web through Google and Wikipedia. You can pick and choose stuff that you want to include. You can also write your own stuff in a WYSIWYG interface and then edit every aspect of it. And once you're done, you can send it out to the social network. So this is a one-stop content creation interface, which is social media enabled, specifically targeted towards HTML5 based magazines. The second customer that we are catering to are people who want to consume content in the book format. So essentially our whole ecosystem.
Stop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to listen, otherwise there's no point being here, right?
Sure. I'm sorry.
So is your assumption when you're talking about self-publishing content in a book or a magazine format, is your assumption that you're talking about HTML5 a lot? People publish books in that go into the Kindle format, for instance, or the Apple iBook format and so forth,
Sure.
which is not HTML5.
Sure. Yes.
What are your assumptions on that?
So the assumption is that increasingly the consumption points, of course, the Kindle is a dominant factor, and I'll come to that in a while, but there's an increasing consumption point across on the iPads, on devices, and on, of course, the laptops or desktops. In India, of course, it's a dominant factor is the laptops and desktops. So HTML5 is and the flip book or the flippable format is catered towards that. And of course, we also are at this point we don't do it, but we've already built the technology that lets you export to the Kindle EPUB format from Themify. So you can actually curate content from various sources, write your own content, and then create a .epub output that goes to a Kindle.
Are you aware that there are massive format problems in that world?
Yes and no, both. So we're not really targeting Kindle-based publishing. It's just an add-on. The core focus is to build HTML5 books and magazines that work on devices or browsers that can play HTML5, JavaScript, CSS, and stuff. So our focus is not to build things that go out on .epub Kindle format. This is an add-on, and of course we will work around formatting problems as we go forward. Our key focus right now is to
just a piece of feedback from somebody who has is in the publishing business and writes books. Nobody should, in their right mind, if they're going to put in the effort to do a book. Doing a book is not a joke, okay? It's a lot of effort, a lot of work. Nobody should, in their right mind, ever do a book that is not also published in Kindle and in some sort of a physical book format.
Sure.
And all that is available. If you work with Amazon's interfaces, Kindle is a very successful interface. Apple is a very successful interface for ebooks. And then you have the Create Space platform from Amazon, through which you can do self-publishing of physical books as well. So if somebody's doing a book, they should think through the entire book strategy. And if you're creating a platform for creating books, that entire spectrum needs to be addressed.
Sure, I definitely mind.
You're breaking up. We can't hear you.
Is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, I just said that that's definitely very valuable feedback, and I'm going to keep that in mind. And as we go forward, we are going to work more towards the. So we've just built the first base platform and the ability to create these HTML5 magazines. The next steps for us are to export it out into PDF, EPUB, and all those formats, and then sort out all the formatting issues and everything. So we're actually in the product life.
It turns out that you actually have a potential customer in me for something like this, right?
Sure.
It's almost a direct fit as a customer, as a serious book author. So if you're trying to get paid for something like this, a good proxy you should look at is all these video publishing softwares. There's stuff like ScreenFlow. You're aware of ScreenFlow? This is a basically video recording and publishing software, video recording, editing, and publishing software. It costs $99 to download.
Okay.
And who are willing to pay for it, because you create these videos and within the software there are direct interfaces into YouTube. You upload the video as you create it and finish it. You can upload it to YouTube, you can upload it to Vimeo, and you can upload it to Flash. That is a great way for somebody who's in the business of video, and you can save it to your computer. So as long as somebody who's in the business of video, that is a fairly complete solution. You need something similar to that. When it comes to books, it's a more complex affair.
Yes,
so you have to worry about the creation, the editing, the design, the formatting, and all of that. There's all sorts of steps involved in the editing and proofreading process. Like if let's say you have there are collaboration elements involved. It's not just one person who does books. It's self-publishing. Irrespective of whether it's self-publishing, there are editors involved, there are proofreaders involved, you need to worry about the layout of the book, and you need to worry about all these different publishing and distribution issues, which is where, all these different formatting issues. How do you upload something seamlessly into Kindle, into CreateSpace, into Apple, Nook, whatever, Sony, whatever other readers from an e-reader point of view. This is a full workflow. If you want somebody to pay for this, you need to address the full work.
Sure. So yeah, that definitely makes sense, and we are now beginning to address those issues. So we focused in the first half, in the first phase, on building the curation tools into the system, and now that the curation and the editing aspects are taken care of, we're now going to build the second half of the workflow, which is to export it out into various formats. So as of now, our primary consumption point is browsers on various devices and on the web. So
and browser is not a popular device as far as consumption of books are concerned from serious authors. Serious authors who are going to be your customers, willing to pay for something like that, are not going to be satisfied with publishing a book on a browser. And then the other thing go ahead.
Sure.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that the output format is not really just a normal web page on a browser. What it looks like in its end creation is very much like a physical book. So and that's hash 2 of our customers. So what the consumer sees from the author is actually a book that he can flip around, bookmark, annotate, share pages, and comment and stuff like that. So it actually tries to replicate a physical book in its behavior. So it's just that the browser is the container for running that content.
Yeah, but you have to understand the economics of how the book business works. People don't do books for free. Generally, serious authors don't give out their books for free. They charge for the books, and you need to work into that system of how the book business works if you want to be in this business. Otherwise, you're going to have a free application which a bunch of amateurs are going to use, and nobody's going to pay for it. And that's not how you build a business.
No, I understand. Yeah.
Right? The other thing that is a gap in this space is turning these books into apps, iPad apps seamlessly. So what if I want to take that book and do something to it through your software and turn it into an iPad app right away?
Yeah, so the first thing is that everything that you create on Themify runs natively on the iPad, of course, again, through the browser. So you don't really need to build an app, because everything that an app would do is doable within the...
That's not my point. We need to build apps because apps has a whole ecosystem and consumption model to it.
Right. So that's a good feedback point. I have really not thought about exporting content from there into an app, and I'm going to take that as a feedback point and think about that, because that is a very valuable point. Definitely, that apps have their own economic system. So definitely yes. Right now we can't do that. Yeah.
I've got it. So I think what you're trying to do here is interesting. It's something that I know a lot about, and I'm just giving you the pain points where you need to have solutions to have a complete solution for somebody to want to pay for it.
Sure, sure.
Okay. How many customers do you have right now?
So it's a free application, and we have at this point around 5,000 users who we launched in October 2011, and till now we have around roughly close to 5,000 users. We don't have a premium model yet. So.
And where are these users from? Are they all
I'm sorry.
Are they all in India?
No, actually, the minority is from India. If you scroll down to a couple of slides after, I've kind of given a broad demographic. So the majority of the users.
Do you want to talk about the segmentation slide? You go ahead and talk about the segmentation slide.
Sure, yeah. So our customers primarily are from the education. So we've been received very well in the K-12 and university segments across the United States and in Europe, where educators are actually picking up Themify and doing classroom exercises with us, where entire classrooms sign up and do assignments on Themify, and teachers are building their own custom textbooks which contain curated content and their own added value into that. The second smaller chunk is travel writers, because we let you create content mashup. So travel blog journals which include their own write-up and then a Google map and then a video. So we see travel writers coming up with theme magazines. And the third is, of course, a mix of people who are small store owners who build their own store on their website, because it's a easy publishing tool. So they upload their product.
And what about the content? Is it rich media content? Are you using, does your software allow people to use not just text and images, but also videos?
Yes, you could embed. At this point, we only embed.
The line is breaking up again.
Pictures, text, tweets. Okay. Is this better?
No, it's not. It's actually worse.
I'm sorry. I think there's a network lag right now.
That's better. That's a bit better.
Okay. Sure, thanks. So yeah, we allow YouTube video embedding. So you could add YouTube videos, of course, pictures, tweets from Twitter, Facebook posts, and of course, text and links and web pages and stuff. So it's a rich social media magazine that we allow people to create.
Okay. I like the concepts. I think you have some strategy work to do and some serious product marketing work to do, but the basic concept I like.
Yeah, thank you. I'm and yeah, definitely we are struggling with our product marketing part, and we are struggling with the strategy, of course, which is why we are here with. So I'm hoping you would give us more points. The customer acquisition strategy we have right now is completely dependent on word of mouth and social media, and inherently we are banking on the product. When somebody creates a magazine and puts it up, 5 people see it, and we are hoping out of them 2 will sign up. I mean, that's that's how we've grown so far. It's completely organic. We don't really have any budgets for any sort of marketing at this point. So so that's how that's our strategy for customer acquisition. So.
Okay.
So this is a infographic that I sort of quickly built around what people are saying about us on Twitter, on Facebook, on their own blogs. These are all people spread across the world. So we see write-ups about us almost every week. We see at least 2 or 3 blogs across the world talking about us. Most of these are educators. I would say those people are professors and teachers who are into Classroom 2.0 sort of a thing. And yeah, I mean, I've picked up only the good things that are said about us. So.
Okay.
So, and some of the top questions that I have right now, first is how can we improve our reach to, how can we grow larger? Because of course the pressure for us is to become, have a larger user base, and how do we reach that with our almost zero advertising and marketing budgets? And the second is, should we have features? If you want, I can give you a sort of high level idea of what those features are. But I'm debating whether I should make certain part of the site premium right now at this early stage or not. Is there a problem in terms of making something premium when the product is fundamentally based out of India, a consumer web product based out of India, which is a sort of an anomaly at this stage? I mean, of course there are others too, but we probably are a little bit out of space in that sense. You're not from the valley, not very conventional in that sense. And of course, you've given me feedback a little while ago about the last point about how to become a major player, but more feedback on those points would be really great.
Let's go one by one. I'll start at the very bottom, which is where we started. So if you want to become a major player in the publishing industry, you really have to understand the workflow of the serious, what the psychology of people who are going to pay for this product. Not just the people who are going to play with it. And right now, you're only working with the people who are playing with it and who are, testing. Which actually brings me to your second question: should you introduce premium features? Well, in general, my take on all this is that you should always introduce premium features, because as you are developing the product, if you have a premium offering, then people start to get into the habit of having to pay for it. If you offer things for free for too long, people develop bad habits and bad expectations. And you have to convert somewhere between 2 to 4% of your free users into premium users. It's essential.
Sure, understood.
Okay, but what I told you, all the things that I told you about the missing things in your product need to be worked out. Maybe those are features you include in the premium program. That's fine. But you really need to scope out the product in a much more sophisticated way, dealing with what is the whole product and not just a piece of the need of the publisher.
Sure.
That will be very critical when you come to the serious publishers. Only the serious people are going to actually pay for the product. And for them, you need to have a complete product. Okay, so that answers your second and fourth question. As far as customer acquisition is concerned, typically companies at your stage do not have a lot of advertising budgets. So we recommend guerrilla marketing, and you're doing some of that already: social media marketing, guerrilla PR, and so forth. And those are typically the types of things we recommend you do. Another mechanism that is very, very successful in early stage marketing is email marketing. And you can access lists of authors, actually people who are regularly writing books, or lists of professors, and market directly to them through email campaigns. And we teach you all of that. We teach you sophisticated email marketing and guerrilla PR and social media marketing and all of that in the 1 Million by 1 Million program. If you join the program, you'll get trained in all of these pieces. And these are some of the ways to mitigate. The advertising is not necessarily the way to go about it right now. Finally, your question about building a company based out of India, this is not a problem at all. You have a web-based product. You have a web-based consumer product that is going to be marketed entirely online. It is a good thing that you're based out of India because your cost structure is low. And you can do a lot of these kinds of things, the right kind of online marketing from India, and you have no limit to where you can reach. I hope that you're going to build a very good company out of India, a very good product company out of India, and I look forward to helping you do so.
Thanks. That's great. Thank you, Sramana. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Mishti, it's your turn, and Empower Lounge is the company. So please unmute your line and come and tell us what Empower Lounge is all about.
Great. Hi, everyone. This is Misty Gibbs, and I'm with Empower Lounge. My background is I spent 10 years in online advertising, working with several online advertising networks, helping them build their sales and account management teams to generate one generated close to $70 million a year, two went public. And then after spending the 10 years helping other startups, I took some time off and turned to the web for inspiration and trying to figure out kind of what my next steps would be career-wise. And I found a really hard time, find it very overwhelming to find content and sites that really resonated to me. So I actually launched my own, kind of using my experience I had gained, working in the internet space. So I launched my Inspiration Lounge, and it is a one-stop shop for women to find the best websites across all, various areas in life. And I had a daily email component to that as well, and was reaching around 10,000 women a month, and it was going great, but I really needed to take it to a whole new level, and redesign was going to be a part of that. And I also at the same time moved to Austin and launched Austin Women Online on a Ning platform just to test and see if women here would be interested in coming together, connecting online. And the other component was a centralized place where they could find the best events. I would feature what women were doing, all the great things they were doing here locally, and women could share their events as well. The event was a big piece of it because there's a lot of events going on here locally where women come together on a professional level and on a personal level as well. So I decided to take those two companies that I had started and unite them into Empower Lounge after going back to them and really asking them, what topics really resonated with them, what did they love about my Inspiration Lounge, what did they not like. And from all that feedback, they really helped me shape what is now Empower Lounge, and I'm really excited about it. It's what I consider like the next generation lifestyle site and social network for women to support upperly mobile women, professionals, entrepreneurs, career-minded women who are looking for a smarter place online to connect with like-minded women, both on a global and local level. So the value proposition is really giving them a one-stop shop to discover curated advice, resources, inspiration, music, and events, to connect with like-minded women, potential mentors. In our Empower Q&A area, the women can ask the community questions and get answers from women all over, from everyday women, real women just like them, and then experts alike. And then there's also going to be a daily email component as well. So when you go, this is the homepage that you see right now. If you go there, even if you're not a member, you would see content and events that are national and then also from the city that you live in. So like right now, you'll see Austin content in there because I live in Austin. So it's really a combination of what's happening all over, giving you the scoop of, national.
Who's producing the content for this?
Excuse me?
Who's producing the content?
My team will have our national team, where we'll have our editors going out and finding the content because it's all curated content. We'll also have some original where, I'm sharing, my thoughts. But then we'll have local curators in all the major cities that will be curating. It's a
very expensive proposition to have all these editors and curators and so forth. If you're trying to build something, content production is a very expensive affair.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar because I had my Inspiration Lounge in Austin Women, so I'm familiar with that. Well, we're not creating, it's not all original content. It's going to be curated, so we're going out and finding the best of, across the 4 core areas that you see here. So, I did my Inspiration Lounge on my own, which was definitely a mistake because it was hard to scale doing it on my own. But with a team of a couple of people on the national side that can, go out there and help me kind of scour the web for the best, and then finding local curators, which actually the response has been phenomenal. There's women that are looking for fulfilling part-time, work-at-home situations, especially when it comes to empowering women and women who are very passionate about.
Pay them is my point.
Yeah, I've been looking at the different models, and probably would be a revenue share where they would get based on how much traffic, they're supposed to go out there and market the site and generate, drive traffic, and then they would get a percentage of the revenue for that. That's one.
I don't buy that at all, because the revenues of content sites are also really poor. We need to work through there are lots of issues with this business plan. So let's, one question before you move on to your next slide. What is the status? Do you have a site up that's out there that people are using, that you have something going on already or not?
Well, I've got My Inspiration Lounge, Austin Women are still live. Empower Lounge, you'll see a splash page up where I'm capturing emails. And
how many people are using your other sites, Austin Women and Inspiration Lounge?
Yeah, between the two, about 10,000 a month.
And why are you creating so many brands?
Well, one was national and one was local.
But Inspiration Lounge is in between, right? What is Empower Lounge doing aside from Inspiration Lounge? I understand Austin is local, but why do you have Empower Lounge and Inspiration Lounge?
No, I don't. Empower Lounge is the union of the two. So when Empower Lounge goes live, I would no longer have My Inspiration Lounge and Austin Women Online.
Got it. So you have about 1,000 people that you're currently getting 10,000 unique.
Exactly. And they were both visiting both sites. They were going to My Inspiration Lounge and they're going to Austin Women Online. And, the fact that women are, the whole local piece and buy local and people are trying to get more involved locally. At the same time, the web allows us to be connected globally. It makes sense to bring it together in one site.
And what is the competitive landscape? Whom do you think you compete with, given what you envision?
Well, there's on the daily email front, there's Little Pink Book. They've got about 70,000 email subscribers. They go out and curate advice and resources for professional entrepreneurial women around work and life, but it's just a daily email. Doesn't have the community piece. There's also Ladies Who Launch, which is strictly a community for entrepreneurs. She has about 100,000 members, and she provides them the best resources and PR, webinar type things. Very focused on entrepreneurs. The other competition I would think is probably Facebook, because we definitely I do have a very strong social networking piece to it. But the difference is, Facebook's great for connecting with friends and family, but this is really connecting like-minded women who are more ambitious, who are looking to, achieve more at work and life.
It's more a LinkedIn for.
A LinkedIn, but yeah, more, I would say more cohesive community where, women can truly connect and share and ask questions all in one place, and then it has that national and local component, as well. LinkedIn's great if, you want to see what, someone's resume is and everything. So in terms of the problem, if you go out there right now and look at any of the leading lifestyle sites for women, most of the home pages you'll see it's very focused still on, fashion and celebrity gossip, dating, dieting. If you go to Huffington Post Women, on any given day, it's that the whole site is covered with that. Even though she launched it to, empower women at work and life, it's still generating cookie cutter kind of type content. Even Forbes Women, leans more on, beauty and the brood and, want more babies. It just seems like, content that you wouldn't, you're trying to go to Forbes Women to get, smarter, get, access to tips and advice and how to do things. I was going to say really quick, going back to the problem also, I mean, if you think there's a lack of centralization when it comes to national, local, you know, content, it's very, you know, fragmented right now. And then on the social networks, I mean, they're great for connecting, but once again, too massive, unfocused.
I think one of the things that the ones that you've not talked about are very women-focused networks that focus on ambitious entrepreneurial women, or Women 2.0, which is a nonprofit, ASTIA, which is a nonprofit. These have been around for a long, long time, and they are very active networks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But not a lifestyle site for women where they can go and find curated advice and events, you know, across, you know, different areas. You know,
so you're talking actually a bit kind of all over the place for me. You're talking about focused entrepreneurial or career-oriented women, and you're then talking about lifestyle. At the same time, you're talking about people networking and so forth. So,
well, it's supporting professional and career women at work and at life, and that's the piece that is very fragmented when you go online right now. You do have Women 2.0, which is a phenomenal organization focusing on helping women founders, you know, get access to the resources they need for their startup. Or you have these lifestyle sites that are very focused on, you know, helping women, you know, look great. But what you don't have is a lifestyle site that's really reflective of how women have, you know, make up now 50% of the workforce, launching 70% of the businesses, yet are, you know, juggling, you know, work and trying to find ways to squeeze in me time. So Empower Lounge is kind of capturing all of those components in one place to help women at work and life.
okay.
So the market size, you know, there's 66 million working women. If you think of, you know, Twitter, people go there because it's definitely an efficient way to get connected, informed, and entertained. You know, 140 characters. There's 45 million women that use Twitter. So definitely see them as like my key market in terms of women who are looking for efficiencies around these, you know, around these areas. Go-to-market strategy, you know, instant traction with the beta sites, you know, mobilizing local curators in major cities before launch. The editorial director for Costco Connection has already reached out to me wondering when Empower Lounge is going to be launched. They reached 19 million readers. I already have a partnership set up with Flipboard to provide be a content feed for them. I'm working with a couple of people on the Daily Worth team right now who are helping her drive her subscribers. She actually helps other women's sites drive their new members as well. So with that partnership, we already have ad barter partnerships set to go. And, you know, huge opportunity on the viral because a lot of this is going to be shareable content, you know, with integrated buttons. So, you know, for pinning on Pinterest, Facebook, and, of course, tell a friend incentives as well.
Can you talk to me a bit about the demographics of your 10,000 monthly uniques? What kind of women are coming to your site right now?
The core is 35 to 54, definitely hit that area.
And what does it do? What's the profile of this 35 to 54 age group women?
They are, gosh, I mean, you know, they're moms, they're, you know, baby boomers, they're, I mean, they kind of, you know, they're launching.
But what do they do? What's their, are they professional women? Are they stay-at-home moms?
Yeah, absolutely. No, they were definitely, and that's what I found when I had my, when I did my survey, is that they actually wanted a lot of the entrepreneur career type resources in addition to, you know, health, you know, self-care type information as well. So they were definitely professional women.
And what professions? What can you do? You understand better more about what kind of professions they're coming from?
No, we didn't. I didn't get that. It didn't drill down.
You know, are these
that far, but
women,
they were definitely women.
Jobs or looking to change jobs, or are these entrepreneurial women? What is the focus?
No, it was a mix because they wanted not just entrepreneur tips, but they also wanted, you know, career career tips as well.
Mm-hmm. And what is your interest? Are you going to work with more the job search, career management types, or are you going to work with entrepreneurs? You have to focus somewhere. You can't be all things to everybody.
Well, I'm going to be
one of the reasons Women 2.0 has been successful is because they are very focused on female founders.
Yeah, no, I did, my Inspiration Lounge, women loved what I was doing, and they fell, kind of in the entrepreneur and professionals. They're looking for inspiration and advice around, both. So, I don't think it needs to be an or. Lifestyle sites out there, especially if you want to do, have more of a mass, and really scale, and really support the...
No, it's a question of how are you going to manage this thing. If you have to make it manageable from a business operations point of view. So generating all kinds of content and trying to be everything to everybody is going to limit your scalability.
Well, that's why I've got it down to these 4 key areas. So it is manageable. It's nourish, work, give, and play. It's a very simple, it's hitting on kind of the core components of life. So, I'm pretty confident about my abilities to do it. Because like I said, I've got a lot of experience with my Inspiration Lounge and learned a ton.
What is the size of Impression Lounge? I'm asking you these questions because you're again in the publishing industry. It is an industry that I am also in, and I know the ins and outs of what it takes to hold the attention of an audience for an extended period of time and produce high quality content. This is an industry I know it inside out. So you may be confident in your ability. I'm asking you questions based on my experience. So at the moment, you have a very small site with minuscule amounts of traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And scaling this to any point where there's serious revenues involved, generating serious revenues from web businesses is not a joke. Women 2.0 is a nonprofit funded by...
Yeah. No, believe me,
You want to build a nonprofit?
And I'm aligned with, Well, so anyways, if you're, in terms of what my fans have said, I think what I found when I was really reaching out with my Inspiration Lounge, especially with my daily email, is that I would get I would get a ton of emails back saying how I've helped women change their lives. And
generating fans is one thing. Generating revenues and building a business is a completely different thing. Which one are you talking about? Are you trying to build fans, or are you trying to build revenues?
Well, you need to build fans to get to revenue.
Yes, but one doesn't necessarily support the other. Fans don't necessarily support revenue.
I think
building revenue is a tough act in the publishing world. The online publishing business is way too crowded, and the amount of unmonetized ad inventory on the web and on mobile phones is humongous right now. So you're going to get junk CPM basically if you try to monetize this with advertising, because your traction is so low and it's going to take you quite a long time to get to any serious traction, any serious numbers.
No, I disagree. I've got partnerships set up, and I'm aligned with people that are already doing this, with companies that are very successful in reaching, over 200,000, email subscribers who are selling out of their inventory at high CPM. So I know it's going to be hard. I've been there, and I've worked with several startups, going from 0 revenue to 80 million a year. I understand what it takes. So I appreciate your feedback, and everything. And I think that there's still, even though, yes, there's a lot
and
of...
going from 10,000 users a month to 200,000 users a month is also not an overnight affair.
Right, yeah, no, it takes a couple of years, and it takes, you know, a lot of relationships and partnerships to grow that.
So where you're right is I think it's the email lists that monetize better than anything else.
Yeah, and there's a daily email component.
That email list is, I would focus on building that email list because email lists monetize better than anything else.
But what I'm finding is that when you have these daily emails out there, that they can only monetize their email, and then they have a hard time getting people to go back to the site to further, you know, connect with them and have more inventory for their advertisers because they lack community. So they're trying now to build the community piece. So I have the community and email piece together in one at launch.
You can, but I think what you're going to find is, and trust me on this, if you can argue with me all you want, I know this from numbers and having talked to multiple publishers who have way more inventory than you do, it's very, very difficult to get high CPM advertising for sites. That's a fact of the industry right now. And with $2, $3 CPMs, you're not going to be able to monetize enough.
Yeah, but you're talking about these big sites like New York Times where people aren't, you know, you go there, you read a quick article, and you leave, and, you know, you're not spending a whole lot of time. If you know, you look at...
No, I'm talking about, I have experience with my site. There are issues involved in selling ads. There are people, you know, I'm talking about sites. I've worked with tons of publishers, okay? We have a company in 1 million by 1 million called iFood.tv. That's a very focused food, you know, recipe video site. And they have millions of users. It's the same issue. There is unmonetized ad inventory, however focused you are. And we are one of the highest quality entrepreneurship sites out there. Our ads are sold by IDG Tech Network.
Well, I've got another example here. My developer, he actually launched 2 local online digital magazines, and you know, they have 300,000 uniques a month, which is great. They've only, you know, they've been able to get to that point just within a year after launching, and they're already getting national brands who are wanting to advertise, you know, locally. So
study carefully what is it that they have done.
They've created value, you know, on their site to their users. You know, they return every day. They're creating the daily content, you know, that people want to go back to and that brands want to be a part of. They're definitely hitting an affluent, you know, market.
Anyway, I'm of the opinion that this company is not fundable at the moment. And this category of company is not fundable. You are going to have to bootstrap this business and show that you can do it, because it's a kind of business that is around so much on the internet right now, and so much of it is not working, and so much of it is not monetizing. You will not get smart investors investing in this.
Oh, I appreciate your feedback.
You're welcome. This is not to say you cannot bootstrap it. Potentially you can bootstrap it, but it's, again, advertising-driven sites are very difficult to bootstrap unless you put together some other way of making money. So go find out what, you know, the kinds of people that you're talking about who have built 300,000 users and are getting high CPM advertising from major brands. Go find out what they have done and how to replicate their, you know, their success. But until you prove that you can do that, people are not going to. This is essentially a PowerPoint. As far as I'm concerned, this is a PowerPoint, and PowerPoints don't get funded, especially not in this kind of business that is so noisy and so, you know, there are too many Me Too's out there in these kinds of businesses. Okay? Or you can do it as a nonprofit.
No, I've actually got some people interested in investing, so I'm good. I appreciate your feedback.
Okay, good luck. All right. Questions from the audience, folks. Do you want to actually let me run you through a few things here before we go to the audience Q&A? One of the things we are looking to do in 1 million by 1 million is to involve serious entrepreneurs who are willing to put in the work that it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. And you know, there's a style of entrepreneurship that's going on right now that is, I will do this business if I get funded. Well, you know, that is a chicken and egg that is going to be very hard for you to be successful with, because most businesses don't get funded. More than 99% of the businesses that go out to raise funding don't get funded. And even if you do get funded with a little bit of money, another style of investment that's going on right now is somebody will give you $25,000 to get something going. Some incubator will give you $25,000 to get something going. Well, $25,000 may not be enough for you to build a sustainable business. It takes a lot of time and staying power to build a sustainable business. And there is no guarantee that you would be able to attract more money on top of that $25,000. So as far as mental preparation is concerned, you have to be prepared for a marathon, not a sprint. And that is what I mean by serious entrepreneurs. Serious entrepreneurs who really want to be successful entrepreneurs and are willing to do what it takes to build a business for the long term. And who are willing to work with lean, capital-efficient, bootstrap business models. That is the philosophy of 1 million by 1 million. One of the reasons why I have a disagreement with Misty is that this is not the kind of business where sophisticated investors would ever write $500,000 checks. She thinks she can raise the money. I don't believe her. So we'll see what happens, but I don't believe that her hypothesis is a fundable hypothesis. And I'm trying to give her that feedback, but of course she's not listening. That's all right. So here's a description of how 1 million by 1 million works with entrepreneurs. You'll find the site at 1m1m.sramanamitra.com. The resources are as follows. Completely for free, you have the blog. And the blog has numerous case studies, numerous trends, articles, all sorts of things that are good educational and inspirational material for you to learn. Everything about the technology-enabled services world, entrepreneurship world. On top of that, we have the Entrepreneur Journeys book series, and there are 4 volumes of Entrepreneur Journeys so far. All of it takes the approach of inspiration, role models, profiling role models, bringing the success strategies and stories of role models to you, case studies, and lessons from the trenches. These Entrepreneur Journeys books are, the first volume is the introductory volume, which is 12 case studies that meticulously show you how entrepreneurs craft their businesses step by step, putting one foot before the other. There's also Bootstrapping Weapon of Mass Reconstruction, which is volume 2, and volume 3 is Positioning, How to Test, Validate, and Bring Your Idea to Market. Volume 4 is Innovation, Need of the Hour. All the books are available on Amazon and Kindle all over the world, and Flipkart would order the books for you for those of you who are in India, and you can still pay in Indian currency. That's one of the value propositions of Flipkart. The blog is at www.sramanamitra.com. Chances are you're already very familiar with it. Now, on Thursdays, generally, we do these strategy roundtables, the free versions of the strategy roundtables. And this is our 112th roundtable, so we've done over 100 roundtables, over 8,000 people have attended. I've personally coached over 500 entrepreneurs, and this is a very, ongoing, very well-established series where a lot of people have got lots of advice from, and they continue to use it. In addition, we have a premium program. And in the premium program, what we offer is extensive methodology guidance on lean, capital efficient, bootstrapped entrepreneurship. We have a curriculum where we offer video lectures and case studies teaching that methodology. I'll talk more about it in a minute. We offer business development services, customer channel partner introductions. We offer strategy consulting like this, but in private sessions. And we also help with financing. Where appropriate, if you are a fundable business, we do offer you help with financing. We have a very large connection into the investor world. We work with hundreds of investors in different parts of the world. And if you're a fundable deal, within an hour, you could get introduced to 35 investors. And we have actually a company that's going through financing right now. On Monday, he was introduced to 37 investors and got 7 meetings by the end of the day yesterday. So it's a very powerful, very effective way of short-circuiting a lot of this extremely time-consuming process of building an entrepreneurial venture. And we do a lot of work with media relations as well. We have extensive media presence, and we give our entrepreneurs exposure through those media channels. And all this is available for a $1,000 annual membership fee. You will have access to the 1 million by 1 million self-assessment, and I encourage all of you to take a look at this. It's a 9-point self-assessment framework, and for every topic where we're asking you to assess yourself, if you're a premium member, you also have access to curriculum modules on those topics. So if you have gaps in your understanding on those topics, you can actually go there and basically fill those gaps, plug those gaps, and learn about how to do those pieces. Like market sizing is a common one. There are lots of fallacies on market sizing, on how people do market sizing. People tend to overestimate their markets, and we pretty much delve into the depths of how to do that accurately and in a way that investors find credible. Validation. We do a lot of validation methodology work, and the reason that's important is very often we see people falling into the cracks of false positives or false negatives. And these are things that you need to avoid. These are pitfalls that you need to avoid. So there are all sorts of subtleties that we teach you in the self-assessment and including the curriculums. The 1 million by 1 million site is 1m1m.sramanamitra.com again. On the top right corner of your screen, you have this black bar, and you have premium program and FAQ, 2 buttons. If you go there, you'll get an extensive discussion on what the premium program offers you, and the FAQs are a good place to look up commonly asked questions. And this new YouTube video channel that we've started putting together also addresses some of these FAQ questions. There are some topics that we are hearing questions about all the time. You should take a look at those videos as well. That's what to expect from the premium program page. Remember, our methodology, and I keep harping on this, is lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startups. There are lots of entrepreneurs out there looking for money. And part of the problem is that the media has created this myth that entrepreneurship is about financing, instead of the more important and more accurate description of entrepreneurship, which is entrepreneurship equals customers, revenues, and profits. Entrepreneurship does not equal financing. Financing is optional. But we have these pseudo-entrepreneurs who have decided that they are only going to be entrepreneurs if somebody is willing to finance them. To me, that is not a real entrepreneur. You're a real entrepreneur if you know how to do what it takes, how to be resourceful enough, and do what it takes to build customers, revenues, and profits. And if your business deserves to be funded, if it's a fundable business, then we can help you raise money, and you can work your way towards raising money, but if you, out of the gate, if your attitude is that I will do this business only if I get funded, there's no way you're going to succeed. Because there's a lot of work that you need to put in, and sometimes years of work you need to put in before you're ready for fundability. All right, in the curriculum, we have two major sections. We have the core curriculum, and then we have the elective curriculum. The core curriculum has 7 modules: bootstrapping, positioning, market sizing, customer validation, financing, customer acquisition, and team building. And we meticulously teach you each of those topics because all of those are necessary for you in building an early stage startup. The electives align with the specific segments of business. Web 3.0 and e-commerce is one of them. We see web businesses as a very large possibility because by 2020 there will be 5 billion people on the internet, and web businesses are one of the key ways that they are going to be catered to. Cloud computing and business solutions, software as a service in particular, is very hot. We see lots of businesses in that category. Outsourcing and consulting, even though it has changed flavors, continues to be a large category. Mobile and social apps are very popular, and you'll see nuances of one of the businesses we work with, Titasha's business in the publishing sector today, has actually nuances of mobile and social apps in and how to plug into those dynamics. So even if you're in a software as a service business, it's very possible that you're going to have to build hooks into mobile and social apps, and then there's the mobile and social app business itself. Healthcare IT, online education / educational technology, gaming, these are all major categories, and we have elective modules on all of them. And by the way, these modules are being continuously enhanced. The modules are based on the kinds of questions we get all the time. And because we've been in this business for a while, there's a continuous flow of questions that come to us, and there are patterns that we see in those questions. There are lots of questions that come up over and over again. So a lot of the curriculum is based on addressing those questions and making them available to you with comprehensive case studies to support the kinds of methodology that we are teaching. So typically, the way we have developed this curriculum is by actually sitting down and discussing and profiling and capturing the success strategies of numerous businesses. And these businesses, these entrepreneurs and how they've built these businesses, they've been very generous in sharing their success strategies with us. So there are over 500 case studies of successful entrepreneurs and the synthesis of those case studies in form of video lectures. That's the core curriculum and the elective modules. And it's an incredibly powerful repository of educational content for entrepreneurship. There's nothing like that anywhere in the world because nobody has focused on early stage entrepreneurship to the extent that we have. We do a lot of business development work. This is just an example of a deal that we did with Persistent Systems and one of the 1 million by 1 million entrepreneurs. It's a coverage that came out on that, but we do a lot of business development work in connecting the dots work per se. We do a lot of media coverage for our entrepreneurs. This is one of my syndicated columns on Read Write Web where I was profiling one of our companies, 1 million by 1 million companies. This is an anecdote from an entrepreneur who came to present here at the session, and then he wrote to me on my Facebook page and said, Sramana, I raised a ton of angel money 3 years ago, and I ran out of all that money because I did things in the wrong sequence. And at this point, I wish that I had access to something like 1 million by 1 million when I had the resources. Today, I don't have any resources. And that's a lesson. When you have resources, when you have a small amount of resources, even if it's a round of angel funding, you need to use that resource well and make sure that you do the right things in the right order and don't blow the money and blow the resources on the wrong things at the wrong time, in the wrong order. We work with a lot of incubators around the world, and I'm actually working on putting together more video content to explain how we work with incubators for the YouTube channel as well, so stay tuned for that. We do have an affiliate program for content companies. Actually, one of the reasons why I was so rattled by Misty's presentation is that there are so many sites out there that are going out of business because they've not been able to monetize. Is one of the reasons why we put together the 1 million by 1 million affiliate program. I've studied this problem at length, and there are lots of sites that are catering to entrepreneurs, and they're not able to monetize. So we have this 1 million by 1 million affiliate program where we offer 10% affiliate commission to the premium affiliates who bring premium members to our site. Now we have free roundtables all through February. We have one more in January next week, which we are doing with Startup Weekend Jacksonville, and we're going to look at, there are a couple of hundred people who are participating in Startup Weekend Jacksonville, and then we're going to look at 5 of those at the roundtable on January 26th. And then we have roundtables all through February, and you're very welcome to come and pitch at any of them, and I look forward to working with you there. I will take questions from the audience. If you have questions, please start putting them in the public chat while I tell you a little bit about one last topic, which is my 5th book, Vision India 2020, which if you're interested in India and if you're looking for ideas for India, Vision India 2020 is a good book to take a look at. There are $45 billion business ideas in that book, and they basically leverage India's strategic advantages, whether it's from a market point of view or from a production back-end point of view, whichever way you look at it. India is a big opportunity for this decade, and there are 45 billion business ideas, billion-dollar business ideas in the book. It's written as if we are sitting in 2020 looking back on how to build these businesses. So in that sense, it's a business fiction, and it's a futuristic retrospective. So the strategies of each of those businesses are mapped out in a lot of detail. So take a look at that book particularly if you're interested in India. So anybody, if you have any questions, now is the time. We have a little bit of time for doing a quick Q&A here. No questions? I see in the public chat as I'm scrolling up that, Irina, you tried to get Kaushik Mitra into this roundtable today. The roundtable slides need to be sent across in advance. If you send slides right before the roundtable is starting or after the roundtable has already started, I'm afraid we cannot get you into the pitch slots. You're going to have to get your act together a little bit further in advance. So, Irina, when you're advising entrepreneurs about pitching at roundtables, please make sure that they get their slides to Maureen well in advance of the pitch session. Well, looks like there are no questions. In that case, we're just going to get on with our day and hope to see you next week at the next public roundtable. Bye-bye, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, Sramana.
Bye.
Thanks, Maureen. Bye. Yeah, bye.